Welcome to Tackle Fanatics TV, and in this episode of TFTV, Adam Penning and Dave Springall review Sentry's new C2-D.
Right, Dave, we're out on the bank today to have a look at the new rods from Sentry, which I know you've been putting a lot into. Fantastic British reputation for high quality rods, which goes back a long way. But these are a little bit different, and it was interesting talking to you earlier and hearing some of the things that have gone into it. So these are the C2-Ds.
They are.
Tell me why they're different and what niche they fulfil.
Okay, well, first of all, they are based build-wise and aesthetically, especially, and materials-wise on the C2 that we've got out at the minute. But these really fall into the long-range niche.
Okay.
They're a 13-foot option only. See no reason to have a 12-foot rod really in a.
It's designed to do a specific job.
It's a tool to do a job, and it's very unique in the fact that it's been designed to cast long distances where people have got shock leader restrictions.
Oh, right.
So
Okay. And there's a lot of lakes that have got that now.
Oh, huge amount. You know, I've discovered that with my own fishing. Line diameter and line breaking strain limits, lead size limits,
yeah.
And it's for the first time I actually had to put some thought into my setup and what I was doing to hit 130, 140, 150, and
doing it safely without a shock leader, without cracking off, is an issue, isn't it?
Well, this is really what this rod's about. You know, you just can't be leaving baited rigs. You know, a lot of us are fishing rigs that are always presented, aren't we, these days, and you just can't have them laying around in the lake. So
is it possible to build a rod that will reduce crack-offs then?
Yeah,
without when you're not using a shock leader?
It is.
And this is what you've done?
And this is what we've done. Hopefully this is the one. Yeah.
Right, okay. It's a different concept to how most rods are rolled and baked and produced, isn't it? It's and if it allows people to, what you're using, like 035? So
035 to 037, sometimes 04, you know, depending. 04,
which for most people is about a 15 pound. A lot of lines are in that designation. And you're using that all the way straight through. 4 ounce lead? Or?
4 ounce is our restriction where I'm fishing in Kent at the moment, but some people I know have got 3 ounce restrictions. Some people can use a little bit more, but 4 ounces if you're going to try and fish like 140, 150 yards, 4 ounce is it was a good starting point for us.
So both the rods are 13 foot.
Yep.
Both the rods are the same test curve.
Yep.
So the only difference is the way they're rung. So what's going on there?
So basically, there's 2 rods, and like you say, they're absolutely identical. There's effectively one rod. They're 13 foot. They're rated at 3 3/4 pound test curve, so they're pretty beefy. They're pretty healthy set of rods.
Yeah.
The only 2 differences we got is the ring set. So basically, we've got one that you see here.
Is this the new anti-frap guide?
Yeah, they're titanium. They're Fuji K guides. They're the Alkanite version, but they are titanium.
Right.
So rather than the standard steel ones that we used on the original C2, which is more of an all-round, general purpose, not a casting rod at all really, we've switched over to the titanium version, which is obviously a lot lighter, a lot less weight in the tip, a lot less corkscrewing in the tip. And then for the traditionalists who are,
because these look so different, I guess some people might not want to gravitate.
Performance-wise, especially in the titanium, they are far superior to a normal SIC guide for numerous reasons. Weight especially, even though they look a bit bulky, the titanium version is far lighter than the standard steel SICs. But they're not everyone's cup of tea cosmetically.
They look very futuristic, don't they? So I suppose if someone wants as you said, the old school classic kind of ringing, you offer that as well.
Then we've got just the standard Sentry SIC, double legs, 50mm, 50 to 16s, all the way through.
Very nice. Okay, a really impressive concept. It's nice to hear something different behind a rod. So let's stick some reels on and have a play,
shall we? Have a go?
Yeah,
okay, mate, let's give them a go.
Okay, Dave, so we're all spooled up and ready to go, but there's a lot of technical attributes to this design and the stuff you put into it behind the scenes. So do you want to go through some of the key aspects for us?
Yeah, if we have a look at the build first, got black aluminium, hard anodised laser etched butt cap, abbreviated handle, black whippings and a metallic red tipping. Metallic red tippings again.
Very classy.
Either side of the reel seat, a little bit of EVA either side. And then we got Alps to very kindly did us this custom matte aluminium. Yeah, it's the same reel seat as their normal round one. We had the triangular profile one on the other C2s. They're quite thin. Yeah. So if you need to get hold of it for a long range, these ones have got a little bit thicker, a little bit more to get hold of.
That does look lovely, mate.
And we've had them done in a matte colour. Their standard one's like a shiny finish. The blank itself is finished with a 1K spiral weave.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
The whole look of it is quite, I mean, it looks modern, obviously, with the rear seat, but it's got a nice retro feel as well,
it's
hasn't
quite
it?
understated. It's the same exterior weave that we use on the NG.
Okay.
So if anyone out there's got NGs or seen NGs, it's very, very similar finish to that. And plain black whippings all the way through. This one here we've got to have a cast with in a minute. It's got the titanium K guides on.
Okay.
The carbon is a mixture of the C2 carbon that we used and a new material called spread toe fabric, which is what we've just used in our T1000 beach rod, which has done some silly things.
Right,
it's really mega
so serious
long range
materials. This really, I can tell from everything you're saying about this is a no compromise weapon, isn't it?
What we decided to do was just build the best rod we could build and then put the price tag on it at the end.
Whatever it comes out.
Whatever it comes out at, it does.
No compromise.
None at all.
So you were talking a little bit earlier about anti-twist as well.
Yeah, I mean all of our rods now, they're all autoclaved. A lot of people know about the Century autoclave, which is part of the curing process. All the rods go in an oven and all of the air pockets are removed. So there's no flat spots, no weak spots. Obviously guards them against breakage, but also guards them against test curve decay. So it's not going to be.
So you don't get that softening over a period of time.
This will last you as long as you need to use them.
Very good.
They won't back off at all. And the anti-twist technology, all of the rods have anti-twist technology in now, and basically the way the fibres are laid down in the tip section, when you really hit them hard, especially with the weight of double leg rings these days, you'll get...
Sometimes the actual top section can move around, can't it?
A lot, like 45 degrees if you really hit them. Now what that's doing first of all is your accuracy is going to be compromised massively because the tip section's all over the place. And the other big problem is that the line, the rings, because they're not in line, and you're going to get twist, and obviously you're going to get a lot more friction.
Loads more friction,
because the rings aren't lined up. So these
will not twist at all.
If you try and twist one of these tip sections, which is probably not the best idea, but if you do try and do it, the rings will probably come off before the.
Right. Okay.
This is the latest and greatest anti-twist technology. On this rod, and there'll be no corkscrewing in there at all.
Okay, well, I mean, again, the concept behind this I find really interesting, guys, and any of you people watching this who are fishing lakes with those restrictions put in place for carp safety, and they're valid, aren't they, Dave?
Oh, absolutely.
We'd have them if we had our own lakes. This rod is going to help you get out to those fish without a shock leader, safely, without cracking off. Show us what you can do with it, Dave.
Okay, mate. Well, we've got some 035 mono on here.
Okay.
So you've got no shock leaders, no knots. Straight through, grinnered onto a 4-ounce lead.
Okay.
And we'll see how it looks.
Right, off you go.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Hang time.
That to cast that hard with a 4-ounce lead, certainly, I'm a fairly erratic caster. I would, without question, I would crack that off. But that was beautiful. It looked effortless. The flank obviously is powerful, but the key is it's powerful in the right places.
Powerful in the right places. Most of the crack-offs when you're fishing like this, as we touched on, we were chatting earlier, the shock will occur in the thickest bit, in the butt section, in the most powerful bit. So without giving too much away, we've ever so slightly softened that area of the blank, and then ever so slightly stiffened the tip to make up for it for those guys.
Again, I just wanted to touch on something that Dave mentioned earlier. We've all had that syndrome where you've got a carp rod that you love, you've caught plenty of fish on it over a period of years, and then it gradually softens, doesn't it, Dave? And it becomes different to the rod you started out with. This won't happen with a Century rod.
None of the rods, every single one. We had one rod in the range that was a non-autoclave rod. It was a slightly cheaper option, and nobody wanted it. It was, so we've taken it out of the range, and everything we have now is this is slightly higher spec than some of the other rods. The C2s are our flagship rods, but every single rod has been given the autoclave treatment. So.
How far can you put a 4-ounce lead with this setup that you've got?
I've actually personally only tested this with no shock leaders, because that, for me, that was
that's what it's designed for.
This will work fantastic. I mean, if you can use braid and braided shock leaders, and this will do.
It will go even further.
I've had this clipped at 160 with dry 037 line. And I'm not an amazing caster. There's a lot better casters out there than me, but this rod will do it, and it will do it with ease.
Brilliant.
Just to finish off, mate, we've got a matching Spod rod now as well. One thing we've never ever had is a 13-foot Spod rod. Slightly different this is actually based on the concept and the action and the idea of the spodding machine, which is a 12-foot one we got in the range. So this is literally as close as we could get it to a 13-foot version of the 12 footer that we've already got, so
Okay.
slightly different materials. We've kept the finish exactly the same with the 1K spiral finish, so it matches the fishing rods. There's a marker rod as well. We've just got a standard DPS reel seat on this one today, but these will also come as well with the black Alps reel seat with the laser etching on. We've kept these just with the 50mm SICs all the way through.
For someone who can't cast, and I'm not much of a caster at all, this setup that Dave's let me have a play with is phenomenal. And again, 035, which is 15-pound line straight through to a 4-ounce lead. Just make that slightly shorter. And even in my hands, it's going a reasonable distance. Dave put it a ridiculous way. Hell of a weapon. Great stuff, Dave.
You've been tuned into TF-TV. Tackle Fanatics are a premium Century stockist and offer a huge range of products at the best prices in the UK. To view our selection, log on to www.tacklefanatics.co.uk. Remember, Tackle Fanatics also offer finance to make your tackle purchase more affordable. Tight lines and wet nets from everybody at TF-TV.